out as I come through. Busting in your line, cracking helmets in. I bring the pain, so what you gon' do? Stand there and just get shook out ya. So clean out your locker, I'm out to get ya. Cause I just popped ya. You can't take the pressure. You might as well quit cause you just can't last. Madden 2000, put your face in the grass.
Austin Seferian-Jenkins, the first touchdown of Jameis Winston's career.
And your pride in the dirt, so put on a skirt. If you come on the field and don't wanna get hurt, just bruise and beaten, all black and blue. And it's been like that since Madden 92.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show, Buccaneer Blake Sports, with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake himself. Bucks coming off a win, 23-19. As you can see, I'm dressed down to the gear after coming through a win. Got my Buccaneer Blake gear, got my Mike Evans sleeve, my gloves, my stuff, and yeah, it just feels great on a Sunday after you get a win that you know on a team that you know you should be beating. Bucks win with a score of 23-19. Falcons lose 6 out of 7 games. Funny how that turns out, because remember the Falcons were undefeated before, and everybody was riding that like a rodeo show. You know what I mean? To lose 6 out of 7 games, they almost kind of forgot what winning felt like. Not trying to bash them or anything, you know, but yeah, that used to be us. Not anymore. Before I get into everything, I want to go into shout outs to Doug Williams for his Ring of Honor and the great things he did. You know, Doug Williams was one of my favorite players. You know, he played for us and got us in the motion in the start of good things after, you know, the terrible beginning we had. Yeah, there's 6 kids up there. Yeah, 6 kids. Hey, but at least he handling his. He had a good time though while he was playing. Don't be mad at me, Doug. I still love you. Nothing wrong with that. In the Ring of Honor is one of my favorite QBs. First black QB to win a Super Bowl. If you guys don't remember that, the Washington Redskins. Unfortunately, it wasn't with us. It was with the Redskins. They beat John Elway in the Super Bowl. They didn't just beat him, destroyed him. It almost looked like he was going to come out that game and he wasn't going to finish, but he came back because that's what he does. He finishes the job and finished it. I read a story a while back. His son DJ, the one that, if you were at the game or saw the beginning of the game, DJ is his son, Doug Jr., and he ran out with the flag. He tried out with the Bucks in the off season just to see, you know, if he could make the roster. He went to Grambling. Man, he had a fairly productive season out there. Other things I want to give a shout out to is, my UNC Tar Heels. Y'all know I had my gear on. UNC, if they could have beat Clemson, if you didn't see it, you could see how they got screwed for the 2 onside kicks at the end of the game. Yeah, offsides. Interesting. Anyway, and then the second one, even worse. Yeah, I'm just so happy that they gave me these moments, these memories that I probably thought I'd never see, that they'd be in a chance to win national championship. And it just fell short to a great team, a good quarterback, and they won the game. I got nothing bad to say about them. It was a good game. I give a shout out to my New Jersey friends that came down from Jersey. Buddy and his girlfriend. I'm not sure if this was his wife or not. It was Buddy and his girlfriend came down. They sat next to me and had a great time there. I'm glad they got to experience that kind of game and that kind of magnitude, because she was Tari. She is technically an Eagle fan. She came down to support him because he was like the only Buck fan in Jersey, and he came down to the game to support his team, which I've done myself. I came down, I think last year, Gruden and Jeff Garcia when they played the Raiders, and Jamarcus Russell beat us that game. I did the same thing, so I know what it's like being up north and being a Buccaneer fan. You're not gonna have too much fan support. So I know it's like give a shout out to my friends in my section. My buddy Joe Cruz. His first time coming to a game. He's an Atlanta fan. Sorry you had to experience that, buddy. Because at the end of the game, it was so awesome. I could just look behind me and I see where he was sitting, and he just had this death stare, like.
It's on fire, y'all.
Fuck you, Matt Ryan. Fuck you.
Ooh.
You sorry son of a bitch.
But you really couldn't see his eyes because he had sunglasses on. But if you could see his eyes, that's the face he was making. That was great. My buddy John that sits in front of me said Fabian Washington was out there to see that game. They're all friends and family that sit over there around each other with Mike Jenkins' family. I'm glad John's wife came out. Everybody had a good time, man. I was just, you got to be appreciative when you experience moments like that, with good people and people you have feelings about. Like, when I'm going to say feelings, I mean, like, people you care about, you want to see do well, and happy that they're happy, stuff like that. It's a nice experience in that, Joe asked me, what's the difference between watching the game on television and watching it live. Granted, we weren't at an Atlanta game, so maybe your in-depth feelings weren't as if they were mine. But it's like another family outside of the family if you have your own. And it's great to see that, and you see people year after year. It's just like when you don't see your family for a holiday, and you have a long time you don't see people, then you come back the next year, you're trying to catch up with everybody. It's kind of like that. I said, John, you know what I'm talking about. He said, no, I moved down where you are, man. You clicked right away, and when we have great times, have a good time there, man. Whether it's bashing our team for messing up or, praising them because you know what it's like to watch your team go through, I'll call it a butterfly effect. Not in the aspect of time, but in the aspect of becoming a caterpillar and turning into a butterfly. A transformation, I guess is the word I'll use. A transformation, changing from a 2-14, changing to a team that's in a playoff race, or maybe even becoming the playoffs. Or I expect the ceiling is limitless. I said when you start getting things going in the right direction. I said, like I said before, you've heard me say on these videos, if you watched them before, I've always said the keys to success are established head coaches and established quarterbacks. Now, it's not established quarterbacks meaning like you go out and get Peyton Manning and plug him in with a head coach. You keep the same head coach with the same quarterback, and you keep moving it like that. I said, an example I'll give you is, I'll start from the top, Tom Brady and Belichick. Big Ben and Mike Tomlin. So Eli Manning and Foster. I can't get his name out of my head right now, but you get what I'm saying. And it's the pairs like that that you do. Even when they say it's like Jim Harbaugh and Kaepernick, you switch out the head coach now, and everything falls to crap. I'm not saying that might not have happened already, because the whole team went through a whole transformation. But that's the thing I'm getting at. It's just pairs up. You got to pair them up. Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid. Those are the steps you needed to make, and we made them. We got a decent GM. He came from New England. He's great at finding talent all over, and you see we get players like Danny Lansana. Granted, Danny's coming down to the bottom of his years. He was kind of offended when we drafted Quan Alexander, but he has to understand it's part of the business too. I say you're on the plus side of 30. You don't have very many years left. So we got to find somebody else in there. He played great today when he stepped in, and I'm not worried when Quan Alexander steps out for his 4-game suspension that Danny Lansana won't handle his business. I'm sure he will, and he's been well rested to do so. It's almost like it was planned. Or is it conspiracy? Oh, speaking of conspiracies, I've never said this on video before. At least I don't think I have. Here I go where I tell you I ramble. These are times I ramble, where one thing comes and then starts stacking on after that. I've been a season ticket holder for, I believe, 6 years now. And, 6 years. I have never once at the beginning of the season, before the season started, get offered about playoff tickets and stuff like regarding playoffs. Even the season where we went 10-6 with Josh Freeman, I didn't get nothing like that. When we should have made the playoffs because we got screwed that Lions game. It's a whole nother conversation entirely. But I've never gotten that offer at the beginning of the season. If I'm not the only one, please put so down in the comment section or say your piece as well. But yeah, I got offered before the game. I don't want to say conspiracies, but maybe they already knew he was going to make the playoffs. I don't know, man. I just thought it was weird, and I just got to point out things that I noticed. You know me, I don't write scripts. I tell you exactly from the top of my head. So that's something I wanted to tell you guys that I forgot to say. Now, moving on, I gave my shout out to my peoples. So Winston went 18 for 27, 227 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. The pick came off of the hands of Mike Evans before the half, I think 30 seconds left in the half. They came down and got a field goal. Winston's 5th rushing touchdown of this year. I think the most ever by a Buccaneers quarterback. Sorry, Daryl, I'm going to point at you again. I'm pointing at you, Daryl. Levante Daryl sits behind me, one seat over. Don't pay attention to the 40-yard dash in the combine. If you're watching this, people, stop paying attention to the 40-yard dash in the combine. Because just because you run the fastest 40 doesn't mean you're going to do well in the NFL. How many times in the league you run in a straight line? Hold on, I'll wait. Not often. You don't run in a straight line hardly in football. Lateral movements. Thus ACL, MCL strains, stuff like that, lateral movements. That's what this game is about. It's about acceleration and burst, leg drive. That's what this game is about. I think I was talking to somebody about that, about bench maybe not even being important in the NFL. It's all about leg drive. It's all about lower body strength coming from your legs, not just up top. But 40-yard dash doesn't mean, especially at quarterbacks, there's a difference between fast and being elusive. Fast and being elusive. What do you mean when you say that? Michael Vick is fast and elusive. So let's bottle that up, put that out of the way. That's why Michael Vick is I'll say revolutionized mobile quarterbacks, because he was a different breed and he could throw. So put him in a box and take him out of this category. Now you're saying Steve Young was not fast, but he was very elusive. One of my favorite runs was that big run he had, and I can't remember what team he was playing against, but he was stumbling and brumbling everywhere. Much like Winston, they are an unorthodox way of running, but it's effective. I'm not complaining. Doug Martin, 25 carries, 95 yards, which I believe he leads the league in rushing now. Because after what happened to Minnesota when they played Seattle, I don't think it ended well. Because I remember people were complaining about their fantasy points. And I think he said Peterson had 1 point, I believe. I just want to quote correctly. Hold on a second. Should have had this ready, but I wonder if it updated yet. Minnesota played already, so. So Adrian Peterson has 1182, Doug Martin has 1133. The closest guys behind him are Jonathan Stewart and Latavius Murray. Stewart with 914 and Latavius Murray with 851. Good job for Latavius Murray and even Ty Gurley. Ty Gurley's behind with 835. But Doug Martin's right there. I think we need to bring him back and keep him and Charles Sims. I don't think Doug is going to ask for a huge contract. Just pay him what he deserves. And I'd rather say he's not going to ask for a huge contract because of the injury season. So I'm sure they'll compromise somewhere. And I don't want him to get the big money and fall off. I want those two to become a joint at the hip. Like everybody keeps saying with Marcus Mariota and Jameis Winston. I want them two running backs to be joint at the hip because there's things that Charles Sims can do that Doug Martin can't. And Daryl will tell me, I say it every time Charles Sims gets the ball. He is the dangerous threat in the passing game. New England would love to get their hands on him. He is a dangerous threat throwing the ball to him. And I hope Dirk Cutter, like I said, I'll tell you, I hope you watch this. And when he got slow and linebackers that can be compromised, please expose it. If you brought him out and the linebacker covers him, throw the damn ball to him. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Just watch the Eagles game up over 2 defenders and make a catch. I've only said that since he got here. Welcome back, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, ASJ. The guy I told you that I kept telling everybody that you were going to be a star in this league. And I saw what you were doing in the game. You were doing choice routes. Much of Dirk Cutter taught you that. Same thing Tony Gonzalez was doing. If you don't know what I mean by choice routes, it's not really one route. You really have either sometimes 2 options or sometimes 3 options depending on what the coverage is. And this instance when he came in, I think he caught a first down. The linebacker Parwarlow dropped into Parwarlow dropped into a cover 3, which cover 3 means that linebacker has flash responsibility, and cover 2 you have hook curl responsibility, like inside the hashes. Curls you got to get under, and hooks, stuff like that, and slants you got to cover that coming back on the inside. The choice route is the receiver or tight end or even running back. When you're running and you notice the coverage, you proceed to run like you're going to run into the coverage, and you actually stop in the gap, or you pull up short, and the quarterback should recognize it as well, and he dumps it right to you, almost like if that was the play call. That's why when they say quarterback and receiver get on the same page, I know a lot of people say that, and they don't actually know what it means. That's what it means, because a lot of it has choice routes and decision routes based on the coverage that's before you, because you can't always pick what coverage is going to happen, because a lot of times defense, much like the offense, they make audibles. So you see Levante David making shift changes, calling in man coverages or zones, or trying to slide rushes and stuff. There's just so much that comes in between. That's why they say you need smart players that make these quarterback calls on the defense and offense. Like I'm just giving you guys a breakdown, because maybe some of you already know, some of you don't. Those are the things that happen. And that's why I was telling the girl next to me, you'll see me make hand gestures, or you'll see me point out on the defense as if I'm playing myself, because I can tell where the ball is going. Like in the play in the red zone where William Golston got the sack when they turned up and got the field goal. Another field goal that game, I was telling her straight up, I can see where the ball's going, because I can see where there's matchup problems. And that's what quarterbacks do when you line up. You look at the matchups. The tight end, Jacob Tammy, was faced up over a linebacker. Safety came down, helped Danny Lansander or whoever was on that side cover that tight end, and he didn't have enough time to take a second option, and William Golston got the sack. So like where he's going, that's just the way football is. It's chess match. You try to pick at each other, find strengths and weaknesses. Just like a fight. Remember I told you before, football is life. Strengths and weaknesses. Just like you're doing people at jobs, you do the same thing in football. It's the same thing. It's chess match. It's not just people running into each other. You have to think quickly on your feet sometimes, and that's where you separate a lot of average players from good players, or bad players from average players. You get what I'm saying? That's where these gaps come into place. Oh boy, long-winded here. Let me get to the point of here. Let me get to the main attraction. What everybody's going to remember about this game. 3rd and 17 or 3rd and 19. Jameis Winston drops back. Can't find everybody. Sees the coverage bail back. They actually, when they were in that coverage, they were giving us the 10 yards. They were going to let us catch it underneath. But Winston didn't want that. He wanted the first. They were not going to let us get that first down. They literally played back and gave up everything 10 yards under. So Winston notices that, runs up and tries to get as much yards as he can to get in field goal range, lowers his shoulder, and in that does a Mike Allstott, choo choo. Mike Allstott hits the pile, backs up out the pile, and runs and gets the first down. Even my mind couldn't fathom that happening. Much like anybody else, even Lovie Smith or anybody on the sideline. You will remember that play for the rest of Jameis Winston's career. You will remember this game. Every second of Jameis Winston's career, they will come back to this game. Especially if we make the playoffs, they will come back to this game. Now, glad that's why I pointed out earlier about experiencing it with these people that were there, and I'm glad they got to see it. You're seeing a transformation. You're seeing it, watching it. Now, I hope you jump on and enjoying it like my brother left Philadelphia. Because and Chip, they trust. They're not letting him go anywhere. They're not going to let him go anywhere because he is the judge and the jury, GM and the head coach. And the thing about, Jameis Winston, he brings to this team a will to win. They will not lose. They will not go quietly into the night. They will not give in. And Lovie Smith said, we playing like we are in the playoffs. Essentially, you are. You lose, you go home. Unless the other people...
Hey, man, it's starting to come together.
Yeah, right.
It's starting to come together. 3-1, third quarter, one quarter to go, and we're going to go 4-0 with this. Outstanding job. We're talking about finishing the football game. That's finishing the football game. This is a good football team. Man, we're just starting here. That dream is still there. That dream is still there. Next week, we're going back to practice. New Orleans is up next. Catch your team, baby. Catch your team, baby. Take it on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Lose, and people tell me that, well, you need this person to lose, you need this team to lose, you need this team to lose to get in. So you know what? I'm gonna give you advice. It's just like everybody gives everybody advice any other time. I need to worry about myself before I start worrying about what other people are doing. Much like my team needs to win and be successful before I start worrying about what other teams are doing, like Seattle. Yeah, we need them to lose to gain ground on them, but we need to handle our own business before I start dabbing into Seattle's. They were in the Super Bowl last year. We were first overall pick in the draft. We need to win our games. Granted, them losing would help, but we need to win our games before we worry about Seattle. And we need to get, like they said, you saw in the clip at the beginning of the show about finishing games. We need to finish games. That fumble from Doug Martin earlier gave Atlanta momentum and helped them take the lead. And so we had a chance to end that game on that drive. We were on their territory, going in for a score. We scored there. They down 2 scores, I believe, at the time. We would have won the game early instead of coming down to the wire. Granted, we wouldn't experience what we experienced, but we would have won the game. And they just got to get better at finishing games. That's pretty much basically what I'm saying. You just got to finish up. And like I said, young teams, we've got to learn to take advantage. When you get chances at picks, you get chances to make play. I know Doug Martin's just trying to get extra yards. With that play, there was no extra yards to be made. You were bottled up. Just go down. I really appreciate everything he does, but you got to remember the situations you are in the game. You can't afford to give the team chances to come back. Luckily, we got a great quarterback that can do that. Yeah, he's a rookie, and I'm already saying that. We have a great quarterback that can do that. Well, God, I really don't have much else. I've rambled on far enough. I appreciate you, John. We'll talk later about, bringing some of the players on the show, Mike Jenkins and the guys. There's another thing, too. I want to tell Mike also that I want to set up, a Madden tournament for the team. Get Winston and a couple of players to be, interacting a little more with the community away from Tampa, because I'm on Pinellas County side of the bridge, and I want to set up a Madden tournament. Maybe it's on a Tuesday, or maybe we can do it on a Sunday. After that week, they have a Thursday game, I believe. It's an away game. Maybe we can do something Sunday because they don't have a game that week. We'll talk later. John, when you watch this video, I'm talking to you. You know, guys, I'm going to end the video as I always do. You're the master of everything you do in your life. What you do with it is up to you. Y'all be safe and God bless. Go Bucks.
Yeah, yeah. Riding with Skeet, Mellow, and Flacco. Ain't got no beef, but we got cheese and lettuce like a taco. What you talking about? I got my city on lock, ho, and I always keep the peace. I never gotta keep that Glock, bro. Tampa Bay Buccaneer, check the red and pewter. Yeah, the girls with you are mighty fine, the ones with me are cuter. Swagger to the max, mind faster than computers. See, we get the signal clear, the flashing lights can never fool us. Call me Young Hammy, I'm about to go ham. When it comes to Tampa, I'm the definition of the man. Always let me speak my mind, but never listen to my plans. Sometimes it made me doubt I'll never miss a step again. Confidence is great, but humility is greater. Being humble is what lets me show civility to haters. It lets me see the real ones from the fakers. Guess it turned me into Kobe, Wonder Corp, we are the Lakers. Going for the championship, you'd be appalled at the amount of women waiting for their chance to get hit. It's some cancerous shit. I jumped off the wheel, they let me out the cage, now I go hamster a bit. Yeah, hometown hero status, cause my flows they be the tightest and my women are the baddest. Skate park and Tampa kids tell me I'm the raddest. Born a soccer player, I used to kick it at Ed Radis or Schimberg. Got cheese like Limburger, I'm a lyrical assassin, I spit and begin murder. I love my mother, I know that my sins hurt her, so I live a righteous life and only listen to the word of the Most High. He made me so fly, boy, I'm colder than the winter, you could call me Snow God. Shout to Key, I hit the booth and go live. If they tell you I'm the sickest, my nigga, it's no jive. I need a doctor. See, I'm fly without a plane and I don't need no helicopter. I'm not an actor. When it comes to my success, speaking the truth's the biggest factor. You're just a poser. Yeah, you're just a relief pitcher, I'm the closer. I am Tampa. Yeah, I am Tampa.